Let's take a look at how media checkouts work in AccuTrack or AccuSQL. Media items in AccuTrack are loaned materials. So if you loan out calculators, DVDs, books, CDs, MP3 players, anything you loan out to students in your center can be tracked via media checkouts. We can set up rules about the length of time that students can have all of the media items, particular media types, or individual media items. And then we can do things like send late media reminders to students if they fail to return that media in an appropriate amount of time. Okay, so first thing I'm going to show you here is on the main sign-in screen, I have different options. So sign-in, setup. And there's a button I can hide or show called media checkouts. Now, typically the students wouldn't check out their own media, so you can hide this button. And then a front desk worker working in the media center can then grab the materials and check them out to the students. So that's probably a more typical kind of scenario. So I'm turning off the media checkouts button from the main screen. In that case, the media checkouts would be handled right through the back end of the software here through media checkout or express media checkout, which I'll show you both in a moment. But let's review our media stock here for a second. Again, these are the items, the materials that you loan out. Okay, and they're all grouped by a media type. And all of this is importable as well. I'm going to be importing some media items to show you how they work. But let's close this for the time being, and I'm going to go to Media Checkout Setup. And then I have some rules about my media checkout. So can you check it in on Saturday and Sunday? It must be returned by a specific time. What is the default checkout period? This is for all of your media items. You can say are checked out for 1 week. Again, we can then further refine the media types and say that they're due back in a certain amount of time, and then individual media items are due back in a certain amount of time. So an example might be all of my media items have a 1-week checkout period. My hardware items have a 2-day checkout period. A particular laptop has a 1-hour checkout period. So that's how you can further refine when your media is due. Print a slip out or not once the item's checked out, or return all media items by a specific date. So they all need to be back by the end of the semester, for example. Okay, so now we'll look back at our media stock, and again we have the ID, type, title. You can attach a professor or not. This is a max out is this particular set of headphones has a 1-hour checkout period. So that's at the media item level. Now again, all media items are grouped under a media type. So how do I add these media types? Well, I'll click Add, and then you'll see these little dots here, this button next to the type. I'm going to click that button, and it shows me my various media types. Now I'm going to add a new type here, and I'm going to call it notebooks. Okay, so I'll click Add. Call it notebooks, and then I can say for all of my notebooks, what is the default checkout period? So let's say 3 days on those. I'll add that, and now I have a media type called notebooks waiting for me to add media items to it. Now I can manually add a media item here and attach it to my notebooks type right here. And we'll just call that Apple iPod, and that's all I really need. And again, I could override and say all of my notebooks are due back in 3 days, but this Apple iPod is due back in 2 days. I save that, and I've manually added an item now. But let's look briefly at how we import these media items. And I'll go to Database, Import. I'm going to pick my file, which I have right here, and then media stock. Click Next. There's a preview of my import file. Now it's just mapping my media ID, the media type, which I predefined, the title of that item, professor if I'd like, and then any notes for that item. So once I have that, I'll click Next, and then Finish. And now I've got 3 media items that I've imported into my system. Back to media stock, let's go take a look at those, and I can sort on these. So let's sort on type notebooks. So I have an iPad, an MS Surface, a WinBook, and then the Apple iPod that I added manually. Now, by the way, if you would like to import the barcodes for a particular media stock item, then you can use a barcode scanner to sign out those media items to make it quicker. So just scan the barcode and then hand it to the student that way, which I actually have a barcode reader attached to my system now to show you that. All right, so now I'm going to click Media Checkout here. And I'm on the back end as an administrator. A student wouldn't see this. So now I'm manning the media center, and a student comes up and would like to check out a notebook. Okay, so I can look for available items here. I can look for items that are already out, if I had any items that are late, if I had any, or all media items. Okay, so let's say the student would like to borrow an MS Surface. So I'll go find that MS Surface here, and I'll click OK. And then I'll enter the student ID for the student that wants it. Now the student could scan their ID. It would accomplish the same thing. But I'll enter the ID. It knows it's Tom Phillips. And I can attach an instructor or activity here if I'd like to. It's not required. And now I'll just merely click Checkout. Media item is checked out. Do I want to print a slip? Let's say no. So now Tom Phillips has that MS Surface, and then it will use those rules for when that media item is due back in order to then send out a late media reminder. The student will also get a pop-up message when they sign in indicating that they have a late media item. Okay, so that's all there is to it as far as processing a media item. Now you can just have an AccuTrack or AccuSQL sitting at the front of the media center and just keep the media checkout screen open here. If that is a dedicated computer for checking out media, you can use it exclusively for that. Okay, so then we'll check out another item. I'll look for whatever's available. Let's say this student wants a WinBook. I'll enter the student's ID and click Checkout. Media items checked out, and then it asks me if I want to print a slip. So that's all there is to it. Now, even a faster way is the Express Media Checkout. Okay, and this is set up to be used with a barcode scanner. So I have a media item here. I'm just going to scan my barcode, and it says MS Surface returned. Excuse me, that was already checked out, so that's fine. We'll check out another one. So now I have an MS Surface. I'm checking out, and then I'll enter a student ID. And again, I could scan a card, but you see it just immediately checks that item out. So I don't have to click anything. It's basically a barcode scan and then a magnetic stripe scan in this case. You could use a barcode for both. It just depends how you're gathering or collecting the student ID, or you can manually enter it. Okay, so then I go run reports for media. I can look at any media that's late, any media checkouts that have happened, and then my media list.